Hi, hello and welcome. If this is your first time here, my name is Hannah. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the new episode of The Hannah Show. So I wasn't planning on doing any more videos before or after Christmas until we were kind of like in the new year, but I had a thought today that maybe I can record some clips from my Christmas preparations of, videos of the stuff that I'm doing, what I'm cooking, what I'm making for Christmas for my family. We are Polish, but we kind of have a mixed Polish-British Christmas Eve. We used to have Polish-British Swedish, but now my son and his girlfriend, they live in Sweden now, so they usually have their Christmas Eve with their friends and family. They don't really come over here during Christmas. So right now my Christmas Eve is Polish/British, and I try to cater to everyone. And normally, traditionally, we would have a very Polish Christmas Eve, but over the years when the family started growing and we were introducing different cultures to my family, we kind of had to adjust things. So it's not very traditionally Polish anymore, but we still have some Polish foods that we keep and certain traditions that we keep as well. My tree is up. I've done it last week and I love my tree. I love my decorations. There are certain things that were made for me from my friend's little niece Eliza, and she's done a couple of things that are hanging on this tree, so that's really nice. I have few decorations. One of them is actually from when my youngest son was in a primary school, and they made Christmas ornaments, so that's still hanging on my tree. So there are quite a few very sentimental pieces on my tree, and each year I try to get a couple new ones. This year I haven't done it yet. I haven't seen anything that I really like, but when I was in Wrocław recently in Poland, I picked up those Christmas ceramic gongs and I freaking love them. They're so cute. Hopefully you're seeing them on the screen right now. So yeah, my decorations are done. I'm one of those people that I like to have Christmas tree leading up to Christmas, and then come 27th of December, I'm ready to take all my decorations done. My Christmas is done for me. The other thing that I really love, giving gifts, and I always put a lot of thought in my gifts, and I always try to wrap them really nicely as well. I feel like me and my daughter, we have this silent competition who's doing the best packaging. Well, maybe it's just from my side, not from her, but she kind of started it. She wrapped her presents really pretty, and I was like, oh, I need to step up my game. So after that, I was like, every year I try to do something different, and this year I have done green with gold and with little beads. So I think, in my opinion, they look really cute. It took a lot of effort to put the beads on the strings, because that string is literally coming apart and it's fraying, and it was so difficult sometimes. The hole in the beads is so small, but I've managed, and my gifts are looking super cute. So I have finally managed to dissolve the fudge, and yesterday it was I had a little bit left over at the bottom, but I just let it stand and it kind of dissolved on its own. So I am going to finish making this today. I need to add my condensed milk, but I figured out, because I've just finished reading Andrew Joseph White, The Spirit Bears Its Teeth, and I figured I'm gonna give you my thoughts on this book, because I don't want to record like a long sit down and talk about books video at the end of the month. So I thought I'm just gonna put it in here in my Christmas vlog, the wonderful book that I've read. Andrew Joseph White, The Spirit Bears Its Teeth. Let's start from me saying that I have never read from this author before. This is absolutely the first time I've read a book by this author. The story is happening towards the end of 19th century in Victorian England, and we follow Gloria. She's 14, 15, 16. Her age is not really mentioned, and Gloria is a transgender. Even though she's born in a girl's body, a woman's body, she is a boy, and she calls herself Silas, but only to her brother. Her brother is the only one that knows her secret. Her brother also is a surgeon. And Gloria is very interested and very fascinated by his job, and she picks up certain things from her brother. Her brother teaches her about different procedures, and Gloria actually can do very simple procedures like do stitches and stuff, and the rest of it, it's theory that's in her head. Unfortunately for her, living in those times, she will not be able to study medicine. This is happening in the society where when certain people are born with violet eyes, and these people can open the veil that divides the world of the living, the real world, from the world of the spirits, and they can also communicate with the spirits. Gloria has violet eyes, so not only she's a transgender, she's a woman that would like to be a doctor, she also has violet eyes and can open the veil. Her secret comes out to light during an event, and as punishment, Gloria is sent to this boarding school for treatment. During her time at that school, Gloria discovers some very dark secrets. She makes some friends, and also finds people more like her. Going into this story, I was expecting to be reading a horror, and to be fair to me, it kind of felt like a historical fantasy with some horror elements in it. There was some paranormal stuff, there was gory stuff also, so do please check content warnings before going into this book, because there's a lot of descriptions of different medical procedures. There's some guts, some gore, some blood, there's descriptions of a C-section, for example. So very, some people might find it quite sensitive, so please read the content warnings. This book can get quite gory in places. I like the fact that this book speaks a lot about what was going on in the 19th century. 19th century was, I feel like it was the age of exploration and a lot of interest in how human body works and how human brains works. And I think we are all aware, or most of us are aware, that it was the age of experiments on humans. There's a lot of, even in the author's notes, in acknowledgements at the back of the book, the author actually mentions a couple of books about that topic. And some of these experiments that were being procured, they literally brim on immoral, and some of them actually are immoral. There's talk here about doing vivisection, I think it's called, when they open up a living, breathing body. So, that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely, if you're squeamish, if you're sensitive to these things, please, bear that in mind going into reading this book. The fact is, this is how people learned back in the day, and even though it is disturbing and it's repulsive, I found those bits are very interesting and fascinating. I don't know what it says about me, but I cannot help it. I was actually cringing listening to descriptions, some of these descriptions in the book. So for me, this book definitely had that effect on me. I'm not a squeamish person, like this stuff doesn't bother me listening to it or reading it, and that book having that effect on me. This is what I'm looking for in a book. I want to feel like this. I want to feel a certain way when I read or when I listen to a story. So the other thing that this book obviously talks about is people like Gloria, people that are transgender. And back in the day, this people like this were considered freaks, and they were treated like freaks. And it's really sad, but it was so true for those times. And the other things is obviously women's rights, and them not being able to study or to do things that other men could do. That's also very, it's very heartbreaking, because but if I was living in the 19th century, I could never be a train driver. I don't think if they had trains. Have they had trains? They did have trains in the 19th century, but I could never be a train driver. So stuff like that, which feels absolutely ridiculous now, but it was so true back in the day. And even not so long ago, certain people were considered to be freaks, and which is really, really sad. We're all humans. Overall, I would rate this book 4 stars. It's not quite 5 stars for me, but definitely a very strong 4. And I think it's all the gory scenes that made it for me. This is what I'm looking for in a book. This, the way these descriptions of these medical procedures made me feel. They made me feel a certain way, and I want to feel this certain way. So this is what made this book for me. Not really the paranormal stuff, not really the violet eyes and stuff like this, but the goriness of the book really made it for me. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I listened to the audiobook of this. I enjoyed the narration, and I would definitely be reading more from Andrew Joseph White. I have 2 more books on my shelves, so it's either going to be a physical read or an audiobook if I can get my hands on one. But I am definitely looking forward to exploring this author a little bit more. And now let's mix that alcohol. Good morning. It is Sunday, although it awfully feels like a Monday to me for some reason. And today is going to be a baking day for me. So I'll be making 2 cakes today. I'll be making this one that I have, the recipe I have from my mom, and it's a very, very popular cake in my family. And the other one that I'm making, it's my favorite of, it's a favorite of my daughter's. We call it Karpatka. It's like an eclair cake, basically, but I don't put chocolate on top. I just put icing sugar. So I'm going to have my coffee, and then I have 50 pages left of The Eyes Are the Best Part. So I'm gonna read this, literally 50 pages. So I'm gonna finish this so I can then move on to other tasks, and then I will be baking. But also what I wanted to show you, Jason got some t-shirts for me for my birthday from Day Dweller Clothing. No, and I so freaking like them so much, with a very cool artwork at the back. I've got 4 of them. This one says don't grow up, it's a trap, and it's literally like the essence of me. So yeah, I'm loving them. I will be showing you as I wear them. Anyway, I'm gonna go drink my coffee, read my book, and then I will come back. I'll tell you how I feel about this book, and then we'll be cracking on with making cakes. Almost ready to crack on with the cakes. All I have to do now is put my laundry in a tumble dryer. But while I'm here, I wanted to tell you that I have just finished reading The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monika Kim. This is an Evernight edition. Evernight is a quarterly book subscription box from Illumicrate, and this is basically horror. And these books, like, they come like the Illumicrate editions with like lovely customized end papers. They're usually signed as well, are they? Yeah, signed. And also, see, I don't think I've shown you, unless it was in one of my unboxings. This is the naked hardback. So they're really cool editions of the books. My thoughts after finishing this book. First of all, this book starts quite slow. When we get to meet all the characters, we get introduced to all the characters, and then as the story progresses, it becomes more and more unhinged. Some of the descriptions in this book will make your stomach turn. So if you're sensitive to things like that, yeah, just bear that in mind. But I think you would expect it by looking by the cover. This is a character based narrative. Touches on a variety of different subjects, including growing up, you know, girlhood, womanhood, motherhood, even all the relationships, familial and romantic, and friendships as well. It talks about belonging, it talks about racism, culture, and even, you know, certain fetishes that people might have. This reads like more like a literary fiction with horror elements than like a proper horror, but nevertheless I really enjoyed it. I loved the character development in this book. I love how they were described, how we were introduced to all of them, how we got to know all of them. One of them is Uma is the mother of the 2 girls, and I think she was my least favorite character. I just despised her. I found her weak and submissive, and maybe because I don't want to be that kind of a mother, I would want to give example to my children of how to be strong, how to be independent. Maybe this is the reason why I didn't like Uma at all. Then we have, an apology straight away if I pronounce it like shit, Ji-hoon. She was the younger sister, and she was actually quite cool. She was very loving, she was very protective, she was very caring, but also she was one of those people that can stand their ground and she was sharp and she was clever, and I absolutely loved her. Then we have George. George is a sleazy scumbag that the girl's mother is dating, and he was just disgusting. Then we have Jeffrey. Jeffrey is one of the friends of the main female character, and I literally just like this guy. He was getting on my nerves, and I couldn't care less about him. Then we have Alexis, and Alexis, she was so cool, and I feel like the relationship between Ji-woon and Alexis wasn't talked and developed enough. I would like to see more of that part of the story developed in this book, but yeah. nevertheless, I enjoyed it. And then we have Ji-woon. She is our main protagonist, and man, this girl went from 0 to 100 real quick. I love how her character developed in the book. She started a bit timid, and then her character developed and become more and more unhinged and mad and obsessive. Not sure how she would get away with some of the decisions she made in the book. Some of her decisions were not very clever and not very thought through. But at the end of the day, this is a work of fiction, and I absolutely loved it. I love this book. I would be recommending this book, and I gave it 5 stars unexpectedly, because even as I was starting to write my review, in my head I had 4 stars. But the more I was thinking about the book, and the more I was thinking about how it made me feel and how it was written, I come to a conclusion that I actually really love this book. I love the writing style. I loved how the author developed all the characters. Especially, you have to remember that this is a debut book as well. So this is just, to me, this is just an amazing. I also love the fact that we have short chapters in this book. So yay, 5 stars for me. Also, I will be using this book for my horror bingo board, and I will use this for the hard mode for pink horror. Pink horror prompt is basically books that talk about girlhood, womanhood, and those sorts of things, and are the author's debut. So I'll be using this book for that. And also, I absolutely forgot to tell you that I wanted to use this book for my horror bingo board, and I will be using this for the hard mode for title has a spooky word. Okay, so now this is done. I am going to put my earbuds in. I'm going to listen to the remainder of this, The Twisted One by T Kingfisher. This is my 5-star prediction. So far, it's looking this way. I've got this much story left. I think that's about a couple of hours of listening. 3 hours, but I'm listening on 1.75 speed, so it should be about 2 hours listening time. So I'm gonna go and do my laundry, listen to my audiobook, and then start making my Christmas cakes. thought, while my cakes are in the oven, I will tell you that I have finished listening to the Twisted One by T Kingfisher. And this was my first 5-star prediction for the horror bingo, and yes, it is a 5-star read. T Kingfisher, I discovered this author this year and it quickly became one of my favorite ones. But coming back to the Twisted Ones, we follow Mouse, who is a middle-aged woman. She's an editor, and I think her real name is Melissa. I think it was just mentioned once in a book, but everybody calls her Mouse. And on request of her father, she goes back to her grandmother's house, who recently passed away, and just to clear the house and see if it's good enough to put up on sale or demolish or whatever. When Mouse gets to the house, it becomes very clear that the grandmother was a hoarder, and as she goes through the boxes of and stacks of old newspapers, magazines, books, Tupperware, you name it, everything is there, she stumbles across a journal written by her late step-grandfather. And out of curiosity, she starts reading the journal, and from there things become a little bit spooky. There is a certain line, like a rhyme, that the grandfather keeps repeating in his journal, which gets stuck in Mouse's head. What also doesn't help is the fact that when she brought her dog with her, we all know dogs and animals in general are quite sensitive to the other presences, things that we cannot see. There are times when the dog goes absolutely crazy, and she thinks she starts seeing things at night. She hears taps on the windows and on the walls, and on top of that, having that line stuck in her head from her grandfather's journal, she becomes quickly creeped out. Then she comes across certain things in the woods, and from there things become very, very creepy. Quickly it becomes clear that all the taps that she's been hearing and all the things that she thought she was seeing are possibly quite real. Together with one of her friends that she made during her stay over there, Foxy, they kind of discover what lurks deep down in those woods. We kind of get this feeling of growing uneasiness, creepiness, sense of terror and sense of dread as we follow the character of Mouse and her questioning her sanity and questioning all the things that she's been seeing and hearing, first during the night and then even during the day. What helps with the build-up of this tension is the fact that her dog Bongo reacts to the same things that she reacts to as well. This is a really creepy, really haunting folk horror that in few ways reminded me of The Ritual by Adam Neville, which I absolutely loved as well. It's a 5-star read for me. I absolutely love this book. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite authors this year, and I absolutely cannot wait to discover some more of T Kingfisher's writing. Absolutely loved it, and it was my 5-star prediction. I will be using this book for my horror bingo board for my hard mode 5-star read. Thank you very much. Now I'm gonna take these cakes from the oven because I think they are ready. They look ready, and I'm gonna let them cool down and then continue with the fillings. Hello. Yes, it is the next day. Yes, I completely forgot to show you my cakes yesterday. I just made some coffee because what I'm gonna do now is cook my gammon. I'm gonna put it in a slow cooker, cook that, and I made some coffee. I will see if that cake is ready to be eaten. If yes, then I will cut a couple of slices and I will show you. And then also I finished one crochet project and I started another one. This is the baby blanket that I was making. I think I need to go away, like very far away. It's a very nice size. It's like a cot size. So yeah, I'm very happy how this turned out, and I've washed it and tumble dried it yesterday. This is an acrylic yarn, so it can be tumble dried, which is perfect, and I am absolutely loving this blanket, and I'm hoping that Millie will like it too, and her baby. All I'm doing today, later on I need to bring some my Christmas dishes from the garage, or from the shed. I need to bring all my Christmas dinnerware and cutlery and stuff like that, and wash everything together, wash everything and prepare everything, because tomorrow, Christmas Eve, this is where Polish people celebrate Christmas, when we start celebrating Christmas, and Christmas Eve we usually have a very nice dinner. So my daughter and her boyfriend Ollie and the dogs are coming tonight, so I can't wait. Jason is still working, so he'll be joining us tomorrow after work. He's managed to escape from all the dishwashing and potato peeling and stuff like that, so he's lucky this year. Good morning, it's Christmas Eve. We got up not long ago. We are gonna go and take the dogs for a walk soon. There they are, troublemakers. And then come back and start preparing for dinner a little bit. You like the microphone, don't you? You like the microphone. Ooh.